Hey guys, on today's episode of the John Campea Show, we're going to be talking about a couple of trailers. Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds' new Christmas movie, Spirited, has a new trailer. Avatar 2 put out a brand new trailer. Finally, we're going to do a November movie preview. We got a little game of password going on. Andor Episode 9 and The Rock. There are reports saying he doesn't like Shazam. All that and a whole bunch more. The John Campea Show starts right now. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I am, of course, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, all sorts of good stuff. We've got a truly full house today. We've got, of course, Robert Meyer Burnett. Right beside him, we've got Chris Carr. The return of Ray Ora, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Sound the Allen horns.
Stalking Jonathan in the background there. You've got Taylor sneaking off in the background. Of course, in front of him, all of our bosses. We've got Jonathan Boyko, of course, and then Alumowana is joining us as well. And of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. All right, here's how today's going to go. We're going to break it down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you've got a thought, theory, question, or opinion that you'd like us to address on the show, near the end of the main topics, I'll announce that we're opening up the super chats, and we only open it for a few minutes, but that'll be your window to fire in your thought, theory, or question, and we will address those in the last part of the show. Also, a little bit of reminder for you guys that a little bit later at 3 p.m. today, we will be having our Andor Episode 9 open spoiler discussion. We're going to talk about Andor Episode 9 a little bit here on the show, but we're going to try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. But at 3 p.m. Los Angeles today, full open discussion. Come on back and join us for that then. All right, with that all down, let's get things started off here, shall we? Alu, what are we starting off with today?
Today, we're going to start off with the Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day. To have your question answered on the show, give us a call at 951-268-4259 and leave your message. So today's Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day comes to us from Alan, who's asking about the new movie Spirited.
Hey John, this is Alan. I just saw the trailer for Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds' new movie Spirited. I honestly didn't even know this movie was coming out, but this trailer was actually pretty fantastic, I thought. What are your thoughts on it? Thanks, and have a nice day.
All right, thanks a lot for calling that in, Alan. You know, it was a couple of years ago that we heard that Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, good Canadian kid, was going to be doing like some kind of a Christmas movie together. And then it just, the pandemic happened, delay, totally forgot about it. And then a little bit ago, one or two images from it kind of surfaced, and then the first little teaser. They put a little teaser for it. And despite the fact that Ryan Reynolds is my favorite movie star and that I have some of his aviation gin on the desk, and, well, hell, he owns Mint Mobile, who this segment is sponsored by, I really didn't like the teaser, you guys will recall.
Oh, great. So much
You
for
were a real Scrooge
so
about
much
it.
for our Mint Mobile sponsorship.
Guess I'll pack my bags.
Yeah, everybody.
Does that mean I have to give up my shield check this
Start
week?
filing for unemployment. Yeah. I really did not think the trailer was very good. And I said as much as we were talking about on the show. It's like, okay, well, this looks as generic as whatever. But I said, let's wait till the full trailer comes out. So this full trailer comes out. Now, I should say, obviously, Reynolds is like my favorite movie star. Will Ferrell, I mean, listen, he has, to put in sports terminology, he's struggled. He's struggled a bit. He isn't actually playing up to his peak performance like he did back in the Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, Anchorman sort of era. But he'll go down for me as one of the funniest guys in movies ever. So instantly, Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell together, you've got me intrigued. This trailer was significantly better. Even I have to say, because the last one, I didn't so much as, I think there was one part in the first teaser that I kind of grinned at, and I thought, that was cute. This one gives me a better idea about their approach to the whole thing. There's a definite satire to it. And you've got, honestly, they're not reinventing the wheel here. We've got Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell, and we've got Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. But you know what? That's something that works. And so while I'm not going to jump up and down and say this is the greatest trailer in the world, I will at least say this was a significantly more informative, charming, and funny trailer. So you could mark me down as being on, I like this trailer. Now I'm at least a little bit more interested in this. Rob, you saw the new trailer for Spirited. What do you think about it?
I got to admit something. You know, I was adopted and raised in a Jewish family.
Yes, you were.
But I'm a huge fan of Christmas. Don't tell my mom. No, she doesn't care. But I love Christmas. I love Christmas movies. When I was a kid, I loved the Rankin and Bass stop motion. I still sing the song, put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The Burgermeister Burger.
Did
One
I
of the
just
great
fall
villains of
deeper
all
in
time.
love with you? What is happening?
Just talking about, and you know what? I'm also Mr. Heat Miser, and never mind, I'm Mr. 101.
Mr. Heat
I'm telling you.
Miser.
So I love Christmas movies. I too did not think that the trailer was that good. I mean, the teaser was that good. I really liked this trailer. I laughed. I thought it was charming. I loved, the Dickensian. It's Charles Dickens who wrote Christmas Carol, right?
Yes.
So I love riffs on the Christmas Carol. We've seen things like Scrooged and things like that. I thought this movie looks really good. I also say that I really like the Kurt Russell Santa Claus movies.
Oh, where he's like sexy Santa and he sings Elvis songs and he's curmudgeon-y.
I thought those are good too. So I watched
one,
this.
pretty good.
And I gotta say, John, I'm kind of excited about this, and I think it's really brilliant that they've made this as part of the Elf extended universe.
Yeah, the ECU as it is.
Will Ferrell is clearly, he's now the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Promoted.
He's playing the same character as he was in Elf, just in the afterlife now. But I know.
Did you catch Bob Newhart in the trailer there? He was just hiding a little back there, little elf guy in the
Papa
back.
Elf.
But I really like this trailer. I thought it was funny. I thought it was charming. I liked the cast, and it looks like it's well produced. And what's not to love? And Ryan Reynolds, he's doing Ryan Reynolds. I get it, but I still dig the shtick.
Yeah, and listen, I honestly think these two during their main thing together, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Chris, you out of all of us, you actually did like the first
I thought
teaser.
it was
You
charming
liked it.
as heck.
So what did you think about?
I love this.
Okay, I was afraid you were gonna hate this one.
No, not at all. Christmas is my Super Bowl. I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I have like 30 people over to my apartment and cook for them all Christmas Eve. We call it Oliver Twistmas. It's a good time.
Oh my god.
It's great. I love this though. I love all Christmas movies though, so I knew I was going to be an easy sell for this. But this looks really, really fun and charming. I really love that Octavia Spencer and him are going to fall in love. I think that's precious. If it is the Elf Extended Universe, though, what happened to Zoe? Oh, God.
And you know what? I don't ask questions like that.
Oh, man, my
mortal.
heart.
Maybe
she's
there's
mortal.
a post
Well, she's having fun with the property brother. She's fine. But I think this is going to be really, really cute. And plus, it's a musical. Come on. What's not to love about it?
Yeah, I didn't like the first trailer. This one kind of works for me. Question is for you guys. Have you seen the first trailer here, the first full trailer for Spirited? If so, what did you think? Maybe you thought it was lame and it wasn't funny at all. Maybe you're like us and you thought, you know what, this one actually really worked and looks really charming. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, we're going to move on now to our main topics here. And how do we select our main topics in the John Campea Show? Well, that's simple. You guys come up with our main topics. See, whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the John Campea Show, go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Alou, what is our first main topic today?
Main topic number 1 comes to us from Aaron, who says, "Hey, John, well, it's November, and on top of Black Panther, there are a lot of other great-looking movies set to come out. I was wondering if you guys could break down what movies are coming that we should look out for, and which ones are your most anticipated. Thanks for all you guys do, and bring on the filthy." All
right, Aaron, thanks a lot for saying that in. And, Rob and I were sitting around the office after everybody else had gone home yesterday for a bit. It's like, can you believe it's November?
No.
It is a little crazy that it is, in fact, November, and here we are. And you know what? You're right. November, we've gone through a big dry spell at the theaters. A couple of nice little diamonds in the rough that have come out, but not a lot of content, not a lot of stuff lately, ever since July. We've gone through a few months of a dry spell here. But November is actually looking really good. Like, if you're a film fan, November is it looks like one to circle on the calendar because there's a lot of good stuff coming out. Now, we're obviously not going to sit here and go through every little limited release indie film that's popping out here and there, but there are a number of films that we should talk about here. So I'm going to run down for you some of the highlights of the movies that are coming out this month. And then myself, Rob, and Chris, we're going to break down what for us are the top 5 most anticipated out of those. So, all right, let's get over and start with this. The first movie I want to bring to your attention here is this little film called Armageddon Time with Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong from Succession, and the great Anthony Hopkins. We saw a preview for this at CinemaCon in April, and we were like, whoa, like Jewish kid growing up with, as a little kid, his best friend is a black kid, but then he has to go to a different school where all the prejudices and racism come to bear. And now this Jewish kid is struggling with, how does he navigate this? And he makes decisions a kid would make, but then his grandfather, Anthony Hopkins, departs wisdom. This is all from the trailer stuff. And Anne Hathaway, who I do not know why, on the list of celebrities who I don't get why they get so much crap, Chris Pratt, Anne Hathaway's on that list too, because I think she's spectacular. I love her. But anyway, this little thing looks special. I think it's set during the Reagan era. I think is when
I think it's like very autobiographical to director James Gray's own story.
So I think so. It's a little bit like Fableman's in that.
Yeah.
So that's called Armageddon Time. That is coming out on November 4th. The next movie for us to look at that's also coming out on November 4th is called Dear Zoe. Now this stars Sadie Sink, who's of course you guys will know she's a big star now for Stranger Things. It also has, if you're a Sons of Anarchy fan, Theo Rossi is in there. Jennifer Capshaw's in this. This is not a fun night out kind of looking movie, but it looks powerful. There's a little bit of My Girl in here, a little bit of Bridge Terabithia. Sadie Sink plays a girl who's got a younger sister and a family, and the younger sister dies. And I guess I take it from the preview that she continues to write notes to her. The younger sister's name is Zoe, and she continues to write notes to her. And then her father is Theo Rossi, who's kind of not with the family anymore. So they're kind of not in contact, and they reconnect. And of course, there's the bad boy next door. That's got to be a part of it too. But it's a little bit of a coming of age thing. So on that, it's appropriate. So I really like Theo Rossi. I'm really curious to see how Sadie Sink does moving forward with a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to Dear Zoe. That is on November 4th. All right. Coming out on November 6th, we've got a re-release, if you will. If I can find my, I don't know if I can, I can't find my, nope, that's not it. Oh, well, just take my words. Oh, there it is. We've got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
Just talked about that yesterday.
A Planes, Trains, and Automobiles re-release for the special 35th anniversary. Now, just to let you guys know, this is not wide. They're not categorizing this as wide, but it is a Fathom event, so it's probably going to be playing in some theater near you somewhere. Keep your eyes open for this. This is one of the great comedies that constantly, this is like a de facto Thanksgiving sort of movie. People love this to this day. Again, November 6th, that comes out. All right. Moving on from that, we move into November 11th. And, well, that's the big one. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. What needs to be said that hasn't been said about this already? The premiere has already happened. The early reactions to the film are pretty damn great. They're pretty spectacular. So, yes, November 11th is when we're going to get our first look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Next up, we've got another film that they showed us a bunch of when we were at CinemaCon this year. There's been documentaries about this, 13 Lives. This has got, listen to this cast, Viggo Mortensen, Joel Edgerton, Colin Farrell, based on a true story. To me, the previews for it looked every bit as riveting and powerful as you would think they would. So this looks great to me. 13 Lives comes out on November 18th.
But I that was already on streaming and it was already in theaters. Are they re-releasing it for Oscar consideration?
Was that the documentary one of it?
No, that was that.
I was confused about that too, and I think they pulled it or something, and now it's back because I saw it. Now it's re-releasing.
Yeah. So it might be it might be now a wide thing. That might be the thing
I
about
think
it.
that's what
That's
was
going
for
wide
Oscar
on this one now.
consideration too. It's by the way, I just want to say it's a fantastic film.
And it's going wide.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of forget sometimes when it's a smaller release. It'll release in New York, Chicago,
Right.
LA.
They do the small limited
Yeah.
release thing. They get a word of mouth campaign going. Then they do the big wide release so everybody can see it.
It's great though.
All right. The 18th already has 13 Lives. It also has Bones and All. The new Timothy Chalamet, Mark Rylance, Academy Award nominated Mark Rylance, is in there as well. Who doesn't love a good cannibal love story?
Everyone. John loves a good cannibal love story.
Everybody loves
Army
it.
Hammer.
Nothing's Army Hammer.
Oh, boy.
Definitely loves
Well, who starred in the director's
Call Me
previous
By Your
movie.
Name with Timothy Chalamet. Yes, he
Maybe
did.
that's where he got the idea from.
Could be. He's like, this actually
He's like, are you
sounds like a
kidding?
good
I was
idea.
born for this role, and they didn't give it to me.
So the way the movie's described, they call it, the film follows cannibalistic lovers, Marin and Lee, as they embark on a road trip across the Reagan-era America. So it's another Reagan-era sort of thing. So again, the kid who I think is going to be the next Daniel Day-Lewis, Timothy Chalamet. So that's coming out on the 18th. Now, also coming out on the 18th. So the 18th is pretty big. I am so excited about the menu. Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and I believe the best actor in the world right now who does not have an Academy Award currently in Ralph Fiennes. It's described as a young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. And if you've watched the trailer for it, you know this looks like an absolute must watch. Anya Taylor-Joy kind of rules the world right now. I love Nicholas Hoult. And of course, Ralph Fiennes, again, I think the greatest actor in the world who does not currently have an Oscar on his mantle. All right. Also on the 18th, we've got another film they showed us a big preview for, She Said. It's Carey Mulligan, Zoe Kazan, Patricia Clarkson. It's described as the New York Times reporter Megan Twohey. This is a true story, by the way. And Jodie Cantor break one of the most important stories in a generation. A story that helped launch the Me Too movement and shattered decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault in Hollywood. I'll tell you what, even the preview they showed us for it was unsettling. It was disturbing and unsettling, and those can be powerful experiences when you're watching a movie, so that should be interesting. All right, finally moving off the 18th, and we move now into the 23rd. We have the new Steven Spielberg film, The Fabelmans, starring Michelle Williams, Gabriel LaBelle, Paul Dano. I think Seth Rogen's in there somewhere as well. This, of course, is basically a veiled autobiographical film by Steven Spielberg about his growing up, his family experiences, his mother. The responses for this is that this is a front runner for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's won a couple of the major film festivals, including Toronto Film Festival. I believe this won Toronto, which is a pretty good precursor to the Academy Awards. It looks like this is going to be the film to beat. So Steven Spielberg's Fabelmans could be your Best Picture winner coming up. It's coming out on November 23rd. Now, here's a strange one. Also coming out on the same day, on November 23rd, is Disney's forgotten film, Strange World. Now, we actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago, if you guys remember, that somebody wrote in and said, is it just me or they announced Strange World and then they've never said anything about it ever again? I have not seen a single promo, trailer, ad spot, anything for this movie, maybe 2 months, but it's coming out in like 3 weeks. It's coming out November 23rd. So that's got the voices of Gabriel Union, Alan Tudyk, who I absolutely love. Jake Gyllenhaal does one of the voices in it. So the Disney film that Disney seems to want everybody to forget about, but they're still releasing it, Strange World, comes out on November 23rd. All right. Also coming out on November 23rd, this one looks great. Glenn Powell coming off his big hit in Top Gun Maverick. Jonathan Majors, who is, of course, our new Kang. He's got a little Creed movie coming out there, too. It's called Devotion. We've seen the trailers for this. A pair of U.S. Navy fighter pilots risk their lives. No, this is not Top Gun 3. A pair of U.S. Navy fighter pilots risk their lives during the Korean War and become some of the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Yes. So the trailers for this look fantastic. Everything about it looks good. So that is Devotion coming out November 23rd. The final film on our list here, coming out November 25th, is the new Hugh Jackman film, The Son. That also stars Vanessa Kirby, another one with Anthony Hopkins, Laura Dern. Peter has his busy life with his new partner, Beth, and their baby thrown into disarray when his ex-wife, Kate, turns up with their teenage son, Nicholas. Every single major awards, Oscars forecaster that I have read, I'm not kidding, every single one of them has said Hugh Jackman is an absolute lock for Best Actor nomination for this. him and Brendan Fraser for Whale. Those are your pretty much two absolute locks. And maybe even Butler for Elvis. But these are your locks for Best Actor. The trailer looks moving and powerful. It's kind of a spiritual sequel and continuation of The Father, which was great, by the way. So, yeah, there you are. So, again, just running it down quickly. Armageddon on the 4th. Dear Zoe also on the 4th. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the 35th anniversary re-release on November 6th. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever, November 11th. 13 Lives on November 18th, along with Bones and All and The Menu. And She Said, that's a full weekend. All in the same weekend. 13 Lives, Bones and All, The Menu, and She Said. On the 23rd, The Fablemans. Also on the 23rd, Devotion and Strange World. And then on the 25th, The Sun. So for me, my top 5 most anticipated looks something like this. Number 1 has got to be Black Panther. The one to me is the one. We can bring up my list there, Jonathan. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is my number 1. The Fablemans, obviously the greatest filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg, basically doing his autobiography. That's my number 2. The Menu is my number 3. You know, with my real admiration for Timothée Chalamet, you'd think I would have put that number 3, but everything about The Menu looks so deliciously good. I've got to have that one on there. Then the Timothée Chalamet, Bones and All go on there. And then Armageddon Time. This one captured my imagination at Cannes, or at CinemaCon, I should say, and I've loved what I've seen. So for me, those are my top 5 most anticipated of the month of November. As I said, guys, this month is packed. This month has so much good-looking stuff in it. It's incredibly exciting. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a look at this list. What would you say are your most anticipated?
My list is similar to yours, but a little different. At number 5, I have She Said. Just because I love movies about reporters going after stories, whether it's All the President's Men, whether it's Spotlight, and being that this is literally still going on. Harvey Weinstein's on trial here in Los Angeles, and I just think it's going to be great. Bones and All, number 4. Luca, the director, and I never can pronounce his last name correctly, also directed things like Suspiria. He did the remake of Suspiria. I really love Timothée Chalamet. So I'm looking forward to this, and Cannibals, come on. And I'll watch
Cannibals,
any movie.
Dinosaurs, and Ninjas.
And we've been getting some really great cannibal movies like Fresh, Raw, now Bones and All. So it's a subgenre I enjoy. Number 3, like you, Armageddon Time. I'm a huge James Gray fan. And the subject matter obviously interests me. Look, give me a movie about people fighting racism. It's just whether it's in the military. I should have said Devotion too, but Devotion's not my top 5. But I love the idea of children learning how to get along and fighting evil in school. I like that. And James Gray's movies are great. I'm a huge fan of James Gray. My number 3 spot.
No, number 3 was Armageddon Time.
Did I? I think I put 4 on my list. I added. Okay. Well, then I guess I have to go. Wakanda Forever is my number 2.
Oh, okay.
I just cut out because I actually had 5 was The Menu, but whatever.
So The Menu's number 1?
No. My number 1 is The Fablemans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's as much Steven Spielberg, like you said, he's the GOAT. And I'll tell you something. To me, I'm not going to be one of these people that's going to poo-poo comic book movies because I love my comic book movies. However, and I can't wait to see Wakanda Forever. I can't, but. Steven Spielberg has been a master filmmaker for most of my life. And like Stephen King, even if I don't love his books, I've loved his books and they've meant so much to me throughout my life that I will always read a Stephen King novel. By the way, his last novel, Fairy Tale, is really good. And The Fablemans, my God, Steven Spielberg has been there literally the beginning of my love of cinema, back at Jaws, which I saw in the theaters, Sugarland Express, even Duel. So I got a movie about his life and how he sees himself and where he came from and his origins. That's catnip to me, John. So The Fablemans is my number 1 film. As a matter of fact, it's my number 1 film of the year, really.
Really?
Really, yeah.
That high for you?
Yeah, because, it's a master. Look, if he was filming The Phone Book, I would watch it, if only just to see where he's going to put the camera.
All right. So your top 5, She Said, Bones and All, Armageddon Time, Wakanda Forever at number 2, and The Fables number 1. By the way, I skipped over one in my reading, and that one I skipped over, November 23rd, Glass Onion.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Is one that I
was that
saw-
on? You didn't send this to us.
No,
on this?
I accidentally skipped over Glass Onion. I just realized I actually skipped over that one. Glass Onion, of course, is I have to relook at my entire top 5 now.
So we'll be
Good
back.
luck.
By the way, then I
You know
would
what I
put,
do? Here's what I do. Look at my list, put Glass Onion in number 3, and bump the Menu down to 4, and Bones and All down to 5, and Armageddon Time gets knocked off my list. So Black Panther's still my number 1. Fablemans is number 2. Then comes Glass Onion, the Menu, and Bones and All. So
Well,
that's
then I'm tying. I'm putting at 4, Bones and All in the menu. How about that?
okay. Fair enough.
Tie.
Okay, so now that Chris has a little bit of an advantage here, what would you say are your top 5?
Number 5 would be She Said, because I mean, Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan, I think, are just phenomenal actresses, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this ongoing story. Number 4, I would do a double feature of The Menu and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because I need a palate cleanser.
Because
after
it's
that.
a re-release, I'll allow
Thank
it.
you.
You end with Planes, Trains.
I was gonna say that movie is so quotable.
It is.
Those aren't pillows. I mean, it's so good. And you guys know I'm not a big horror person, but this is one I'll go see with you, Tay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go see it, and you just have to hold my hand. I'm gonna cry a lot.
Pretty much Steve Martin at the rental company is me every day. That is my spirit.
Very accurate. Oh
By the
my
way,
gosh.
He looks the same as he does in Only Murders in the Building,
Oh, absolutely.
and it's 35 years
Yeah.
between the
Yeah, it
two.
does.
Steve Martin's aging real well. Banjo keeps you young. Number 3, I would do Glass Onion. Very excited about that. Number 2 would be Black Panther: Wakanda Forever for me. We also have the tradition of seeing a Marvel movie for Logan's birthday every year. Last year we went with you guys for Doctor Strange,
That's
so
right.
this is our favorite thing to do. And number 1 for me also is Fablemans.
Yay.
I'm really excited to see a love letter to cinema, especially because around this time of year, particularly for when I'm doing my SAG voting, it's a lot of watching hard to watch films, and they're important and they are beautifully done. But I'm excited when we have stories that are those kind of festival darlings, those award darlings, that are about joy. And I
Right.
feel like that movie is going to have so much love and heart in it. And I'm really excited to see that. I think it's going to just make me re-fall in love with Steven Spielberg's work. And it's also going to just kind of reignite my own love for movies.
Lou, let me ask you, out of all the movies we listed for November, which one for you is standing out as the one you got to see?
Ooh, well, Black Panther 2, that's going to be a cop-out, so I'm not going to say that one, even though that is my first one. But yeah, The Fablemans is really speaking to me, because again, a love letter to cinema. I think that would, after all these months of movie talk and people screaming about comic book movies, positive or negative, I think it'll be refreshing to just see a love letter to cinema, period.
Ray, what about you? You got one of those?
Devotion, baby.
Devotion.
Let's go.
You've been excited about Devotion ever since CinemaCon.
Yep. I just watched the trailer again right now. It still looks the same, but
They didn't change it?
They haven't changed it, really? Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this incredible lineup for November that's coming down the pipe? I mean, again, we've been in a bit of a drought lately, but November's coming in with a huge storm and vengeance. Which one are you guys looking forward to the most? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys, with that down, we're going to take a second here and thank one of the sponsors of our show today, one of our original sponsors, the wonderful folks over at Stamps.com. We want to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Stamps.com. Guys, it happens every holiday season. No matter how prepared we think we are for the season, it always turns out we're nowhere near as prepared as we thought we were, especially with our shipping. And right about now, seasonal excitement, or dread as the case may be, is really starting to settle in, especially for small businesses. Slaying through traffic to the post office, inboxes more like a blizzard than a winter wonderland, rushing to send cards and gifts to your loyal clients. The good news is it's not too late to get your holiday mailing and shipping under control with Stamps.com. Sign up now and you'll be printing your own postage in minutes. Because Stamps.com is your one-stop shop for all of your shipping and mailing needs. Get access to the United States Postal Service and UPS services that you need to run your business right from your computer. Up to 86% off. So this holiday season, trade late nights for silent nights and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code code CAMPEA for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code CAMPEA. And thank you to our friends at Stamps.com for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, it's time for us to play a little game of movie password. That's right, password, but we're going to do it a little bit differently today because I am not going to give the clues. We actually have 2 teams that are going to be representing you guys. All right, team number 1 is Robert Meyer Burnett and Ray Ora are going to be playing on one team. And on team number 2, we have Chris Carr and Alu Moana. So here's what's happening. At stake right now is this Loki Funko Pop that all the crew will autograph and send out to you if you are one of our channel members and I name you here. So representing our channel member Will Batchelor will be Chris and Alu. And Rob and Ray will be representing our channel member Rampage Predacon. That is who you guys are playing for. All right. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Rob, give me a number.
9.
Chris?
3.
The number is 7. Rob, you were closest, so you will go first. All right. So here we go. Our first thing, now just so you guys know, we will not be putting the word up on the screen so you guys at home can play along. We will put the word up on the screen at the end of the round or once somebody guesses it. So, Rob, your first clue to Ray is worth 6 points. Go ahead.
Ray, you ready?
No. Let's go.
Hella.
Ragnarok.
For
Ragnarok.
6 points, Thor Ragnarok.
That's what I'm talking about.
Rob and Ray coming out strong with Thor Ragnarok.
Bam.
Right, Ray got it. Okay. So Chris and Alu don't even get a turn in round 1. All right. There are going to be 8 rounds. We now move on to round number 2. Chris, your first clue. Go ahead.
Oh, isn't Alu giving
mine
me the
for
clue?
you.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. Yes, it's a new game,
I
everybody.
was like, what?
Now
no.
we switch sides.
It's a new game.
Alu and Ray will now be
Okay.
giving the clue. So
right.
for round number 2, Alu, what is the clue?
Nolan.
Inception?
Incorrect. All right, for 5 points, Ray, your second clue to Rob.
Rylance.
3, 2, 1. At time. All right. We go back over to Alu and Chris for 4 points. Alu,
don't.
your third clue.
War.
3.
Oh,
Two,
no. Why can't I
one.
think of it? Dunkirk.
4 points.
Dunkirk is such a good movie, too.
I knew it. I just
4
couldn't think of the
points.
words. I was like,
I
what
know,
beach
I
are they
know.
on?
All right. So Alu and Chris are back in the fight. We move into round number 3, where Chris and Rob will once again be giving the clues. So who gave the first clue that time? Alu did, right? Okay. So Rob, you will be giving the first clue this time. Your first
Or is it me?
clue
Oh, okay.
is 3,
Christian.
3, 2, 1.
Ba-
No.
No, yeah, I know.
All right. We go for 5 points. Chris, your second clue to Alu is
Bondage.
Oh, this is getting even better.
3
Oh.
2.
50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
points. 50 Shades of
Leave
Grey
it to the girls to get back.
is the
You should have
answer.
got that.
It's my Boxing Day movie.
You should have gave that.
Why did I see that in
That was-
theaters?
So after 3
Watch
rounds,
it every
Taylor,
year.
what's the score?
All right, so Rob and Ray have 6 points, and Chris and Alu have 9 points.
Okay, so Chris and Alu have shot into the lead. All right, now Ray and Alu will be giving the clues. We, of course, who just gave the first clue? Rob just did. So
right?
Alu, you'll be giving the first clue for round number 4. And your first clue is
Venom.
Oh.
3, 2, 1.
Tom Hardy.
For 6 points!
Okay.
For 6 points. They got Tom Hardy. All right. We move now into round number 5.
We gotta sweep this.
What?
Right now.
Okay.
Rob, you're up first. Your first clue for round number 5.
Lost.
Ooh, I like that. 3, 2, 1, time. All right. Chris, for 5 points, your second clue to Alou.
Indy?
3,
Harrison Ford?
incorrect. For 4 points, Rob, your third clue to Ray.
Come on, guys, you can catch up.
Nazis.
Indiana Jones.
Incorrect. All right. For 3 points,
I don't know.
we go over to Chris. For 3 points, your next clue is
Historic?
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
we will take Lost Ark of the Covenant.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
for 3 points.
Wait a minute.
No, but technically, Rob.
That's you it's
said the
not the
word.
title of a movie. You can't say that.
True, but if
you
she
also-
just said Lost Ark, that would have been
But the clue is Ark of the Covenant.
yes. Just so you
The
know, do we
movie
have
is
that
not
up on the screen, John?
Raiders of the
okay.
Lost Ark is not the same thing as the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
because,
what?
because hang on,
Covenant, a
hang
movie?
on. Let me just say this because then that makes sense because Rob would have been disqualified because he said lost.
Oh,
so
that's
how
true.
could that
You
be
know
the
what?
answer?
That's true. So
We'll just do a-
we'll go nullify it. No
Yeah,
points for
nullify.
anybody.
You know,
Well,
this is a new type of
You know-
game
yep,
still. You
this
know,
is
we're
one.
working out the
We're still
kinks
figuring it out.
before we go to broadcast.
Because
Okay, you're
the
right.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is a movie title. The
Yep,
Ark
you're
of
right.
the Covenant is not that.
You're
But
right.
what is
Just-
But that's not a movie, right? Ark of the Covenant.
No, it's
No,
a thing.
but that
It's
was
the thing they're looking
What
for.
we're looking for was Ark of the
All right. Well, in that
Okay,
case,
okay.
no extra points. So what's
Okay.
the current score, Taylor?
Sorry, I don't mean
All
to
right,
be
so
a
Chris and
bitch.
Alou have 15,
God,
and Rob and Ray
Rob.
have 6.
Okay, still 15-6, but there's still enough points on the board for them to catch
We
up.
gotta get these two.
Okay, so who just gave the first clue on that?
I did.
Okay, so Alou, we go over to you for round number 6. Your first clue
Galifianakis.
The Hangover?
for 6 points.
That's it.
For 6 points.
Yes.
No, it's not the Ark of the Covenant. It is, in fact.
That's what they're looking
still-
for, though.
yeah,
There we go. There we go.
There it is. It's the Hangover is the answer. All right.
Rob.
What does that make the score?
That makes Chris and Alou have enough points to drink 21
Yeah.
points.
Aw,
Two?
yay.
And Rob and Ray, I'm sorry, only
We
6
only
points.
got that first one, Rob.
Well, that means Chris and Alou win. But you know what? We will do the final 2
For fun.
questions just to see how much of an ass whooping this really
Oh
is.
yeah, no, let's do it double
All
or
right.
nothing.
Double or nothing.
We go over, Rob. You're going to be the first one up to give a clue.
No, I think it's Ray's giving me a clue
All right, finally.
Or who just gave the first clue?
because this is question 6,
Alou gave
right?
one to me, but Ray hasn't
No,
done
that
any.
yes,
This is
we
question
just did
7.
question 6. Now we're
So
doing
this is
7.
Oh, final question then. Okay.
No, 2
No,
more
'cause
questions.
we have 8.
We have there are 8 in total.
Oh, okay.
All right. So your first clue to Ray for round 7 is
Scarer.
ooh,
Excuse me?
I know what this
Scarer.
Scream.
incorrect.
Rob looks
All right,
disappointed.
Chris.
We're right here. You already know.
Your second
We already
clue
know.
is
Scarer.
Wazowski.
Monsters Inc.
for 5 points.
Yeah.
Chris and
You
Alou.
still want to keep playing?
Yeah, what would
All right.
You know, if you said Wazowski, I
For
would
whose fault?
I know.
I thought Scarer
If
was
you
a
said
pretty good
Bond,
clue.
yeah,
I thought that was a
That's,
good
that's
clue.
way too wide of a thing for me. I mean, scary.
Well, that's what they're trying to become.
Right.
They're
All
trying to be
right.
Scarers.
My
We
turn
move
now.
into the final round
That
now.
was a good one.
We got
So
Rob.
who just gave the first clue?
We did. So then I think this is Ray finally
Yeah,
asking
finally,
one.
I'll
Ray.
get the clue.
All right. Ray, you're up first
For triple
for
or
round
nothing.
8 for triple points. What is your first clue?
Presley.
Elvis.
For 6 points. So our final score
All right.
is what is
Chris
it,
and
Taylor?
Alou ended up with 26 points, and Rob and Ray, not bad, 12 points.
All right, that was a good practice. Now let's play.
Let's really play. So the winner of our round here and winning a Loki autographed Loki Funko Pop is Will Bachelor. Congratulations, Will. You win it. Ray will get in touch with you through the community tab there.
Don't worry,
and
Rob.
we'll make arrangements for you to get
It's
your
going to be
pop.
me and you this whole time.
finally
Just me
By
and
the
you.
way, guys, let us know what you think about the team password, and let us know about us not putting up the password until people answer it. Maybe you guys want it on the screen, maybe you don't. Make sure you guys let me know for next time because it's a new way we're doing things. All right, guys. With that all down, let's move on to main topic number 2 here, shall we? Alu, what is our second main topic today?
Main topic number 2 comes to us from Matt, who says, wow, no action, but Andor episode 9 is intense every single second that it's sometimes hard to even breathe. We find out how truly evil this labor camp really is. I can't wait for the last arc, and I love how every second reinforces how evil and Nazi-like the Empire is, like George Lucas wanted them to be made out to be. And Nazi-like the Empire is like George Lucas wanted... Oh, it's just a...
Yeah.
Yeah, so John, you're a
you
huge
just
fan
gotta
of
put it
Andor.
twice there. Listen, it's the same thing. It's kind of like House of the Dragon with Andor. Every week, I keep waiting for a week episode. I just keep waiting for one of the episodes a week. Now, maybe they did have one, which I think the weakest episode for Andor has been episode 1. But that's part of the reason why they released the first couple together, the first 3 together, right? So you went right through the first one for just all set up. Then you got into the meat of it and it felt great. But they have not taken their foot off the gas since. We left off last week with Andor in prison. So, okay, there you go. You're in prison now, starting of a new arc. And you know what? I love the way you just put that in your message. No action and nonstop thrilling. There's no action, but it never ceases to be thrilling. Every scene, you're holding your breath as every movement and word is uttered. And I just continue to be it does remind me a lot of House of the Dragon because most of the House of the Dragon also, no action, nothing going on, but constantly thrilling. Something that I kind of wish Rings of Power was, but it just completely delivered on that. And everything from the prison stuff all the way to the stuff with Mon Mothma. There's a revelation made. There's a character revelation made. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I loved this episode, and it's setting up kind of the conclusion to this little mini arc next week, which again is going to be incredible. So I have absolutely loved it. Cannot wait for us to talk about this in a full open spoiler discussion a little bit later today at 3. Anyway, Rob, you saw this episode. What did you think of it?
Dude, I mean, this show never ceases to actually, it's funny. When I say it blows my mind, what really blows my mind is how it's taken Star Wars into a totally different realm. I mean, I don't think I can think of Star Wars the same way. I never thought that would happen. This episode, man, there are things in it, even quiet moments, like the senators turning off their lights when Mon Mothma was speaking and just giving up there. I don't want to listen to this chick. Then you've got Ilsa She-Wolf of the...
don't go too much into it. But
all right. But then you've got Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. This character...
It's becoming her show.
I mean, my God, does it show that women are just as capable of becoming evil fascists as anybody else. And I am so
Glass
there
ceiling
for it.
broken.
I mean, her performance, she is so fearsome. She's easily becoming one of the great, scary Imperial officers we've ever seen. And I'm so there for it. But I'll tell you something. The thing that really, they are not shying away from the horror of what the Empire can do to people.
Right.
Whether it's torture. I mean, we find out that they're straight up running concentration camps. I mean, I'm just blown away.
Because without going into details, when we first arrived at that prison, other than the welcome they got given by the warden with the instant little shocks, okay, so behave yourself and you avoid this. It didn't look like, as far as prisons go, this doesn't look half bad. But then you get more into it, and you're like, oh my God, it's bad.
We found out that it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the most horrific, take whatever dystopian sci-fi or World War II war film. I mean, this is horrific. The thing that most shocks me is that Disney allowed this to get made.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how adult, how bleak, how scary, and how just engaging this is. I mean, for all of the things that people have talked about since Disney took over Star Wars, this alone, in my mind, makes it worthwhile. And the fact that it leads up to Rogue One just makes Rogue One. I really hope that they make a director's cut of Rogue One to end this, like when it's over at the end of 2 years. Give me, put everything, put that TIE fighter scene in, whatever they cut out of Rogue One when they said, this movie's too dark, we have to reshoot it and make it, put it all back in and give us a 3-hour presentation of Rogue One, because man, this series, I'm blown away.
Chris, you had a chance to watch Andor episode 9. What did you think of it?
Whew, this is an intense episode. This is great. And you see so many Imperial tactics that are unnerving in this one, which is really, really great. I mean, just the way they will, kind of nonchalantly talk about how they're going to approach certain things is bone chilling. Andy Serkis is incredible.
Yeah, like last week I thought, okay, that's nice. They slid Andy Serkis in there. Okay, that was cool. But no, in this episode, you're like, oh my God, he's so good.
It's one of those moments of, oh, this is why we have someone with this caliber. Okay,
Right.
all right, I see you. Really, really, really great stuff there. All of our, I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to even say who else is in this episode. But really, really good stuff. This was on the edge of my seat kind of episode stuff.
But who knew that this was a Supreme Leader Snoke origin story?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Man.
From the prisons of the Imperial cells to Supreme Leader of the first. Anyway, I thought it looked incredible. Guys, what did you think about the new episode of Andor? Whatever you thought, leave it below, but make sure you also come back and join us at 3 o'clock when we can talk about it in a more open format. Hope to see you guys there. So what are your thoughts on it? Jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys, with that down, let's take a second here and thank another one of our sponsors here today, the great folks at Wondery and their new official Rings of Power podcast. Guys, we want to thank one of the sponsors of this episode, Wondery, and their official Lord of the Rings Rings of Power podcast. Your host, Felicia Day, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each of the episodes of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. So watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now. And thank you to the folks at Wondery for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get on to main topic number 3. Alou, what is our third main topic today?
Main topic number 3 comes to us from Tristan Ortiz, who says, I'll have to admit, the hype around Avatar 2 before the first teaser revealed earlier this year was neither here nor there for me. I just didn't think I'd care to return to Pandora after all these years, but holy moly, never underestimate James Cameron. The teaser trailer for Avatar 2 had my curiosity. The official trailer that dropped this morning has my attention. What did you think of the official trailer for the long-awaited Avatar: The Way of Water?
All right, Tristan, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, people have been waiting. People have been asking a lot lately about where's the second trailer for Avatar. I mean, the first one came out, we saw the first trailer in April. So ages ago that we saw this thing. And then it got out public not long after that. And people have seen that first little teaser. Where's the first full trailer? Because we're closing in on 2 months. Less than 2 months now till this movie comes out. Well, this morning, I believe it was on Good Morning America, they dropped the new trailer. All right, I got a couple thoughts on it. One is, as a trailer, I don't know that I loved it. Look, let me preface that by saying this. It's gorgeous, like absolutely jaw-droppingly, stunningly beautiful. Like I was watching the trailer first on my computer, and then I'm like, this is so beautiful. I stopped it and I went into my theater room and I loaded up the projector and I had to watch it on full 4K, everything, and it was absolutely stunning. The world, the creature animation, the characters themselves, the world that they inhabit, it was so tangible. I felt like I could reach out and like touch that world. It was insanely beautiful. However, the gorgeousness of it aside, and the fact that I am very excited to watch this movie, and I think the movie will be great because nobody should be in the doubting James Cameron business. and I don't. I believe this movie's going to be great. But going by my normal rules of a trailer, I don't really feel like I know anything more about this movie than I did when they announced the movie. Okay, we're going back to Pandora. Yeah, we knew we were doing that. It's 10 years later. Well, yeah, they told us that before. They've got kids. Okay, yeah, we knew. Other than showing up in another tribe and saying, don't bring your war here, I don't know anything more about this movie. Put it simple, I don't know what this movie's about. We're now 2 trailers in. We're less than 2 months away from this movie. I still don't know what it's about. So the main guiding rule for trailer is to take your excitement level and bump it up. And I will say, while the trailer is gorgeous, and I'm already excited to see the movie, and I believe it'll be great, this trailer did not make me more excited for the movie. I expected it to look gorgeous. I expected the visuals to be jaw-droppingly stunning. I wanted to see something else about the story that was going to get me excited about going back there. And I don't think this trailer delivered that, despite the fact that it's absolutely beautiful. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to see the new trailer for Avatar. What did you think of it?
I mean, it's a visual feast.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
really, really beautiful. But to your point, yeah, we're not getting any really big plot points revealed in this. You know, we see a whole bunch of these like folks in tactical gear now, and we know that Lang's character, right, is now in one of these bodies as well as one of the Na'vi. So there's obviously going to be some continuing conflict there, but we're just not getting specifics now. I have said this about the past before with like Disney trailers and things like that, like what Marvel's done. A lot of times they give us way too much in the trailer. They tell us too many things. Then I go to the movie and go, yeah, I already saw all of this. I know exactly what's happening. So I don't mind that they didn't give me too much of the narrative moving forward. I just would have liked maybe a little more dialogue just to let me know what some of this conflict is. Just a line or two. Because right now it does feel like we're banking too much on how pretty this is and the success of the first one. And while I do think you should bet on James Cameron, I do think this trailer is just kind of anticipating you already want to see it regardless.
No.
And I think you got to win a few people over on this.
I can already hear in the back of my head the people screaming out, well, John, do you want them to give away the whole movie in the trailer? Oh, yeah. Because if somebody says they'd like a light massage on the back, you're saying, what, you want me to hit you in the back with a sledgehammer? There are not two extremes. There's a happy middle ground. Mm-hmm. I do not want them to give away the whole movie in the trailer. I just want you to tell me what the movie's about. I just want to know what it's about. You watch a trailer for Beverly Hills Cop, you got an idea what this is about. You watch the trailer for anything. It just gives you a basic idea what's about. I don't want plot points spoiled. I don't want anything like that. I just tell me what the movie's about. That was the big problem with Blade Runner 2049 and why nobody went to go see that movie. The trailers they did what this trailer did. They just assumed that, well, everybody's going to come because the name Blade Runner is on it, and it looks so pretty, and we don't need to tell them anything else. Well, guess what? The audience said, well, then we're staying home. And they didn't go out to support the movie. And that's a shame because the movie was great, but they literally never gave you the slightest hint about what the movie was about. So people are like, well, why will I spend my money on this? A lot of people are going to spend their money on Avatar, too.
They are.
I'm going to be one of them, but I thought they could have done a better job.
I think
with
for
this
the
trailer.
naysayers, though, who are like, it's just Fern Gully, I think we needed a little bit more.
Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see this trailer. I know you've been very excited about this film, but what do you think about the trailer?
I saw it a little differently than you guys. As you know, James Cameron produced Steven Soderbergh's remake of Solaris. Solaris is a movie, and it's based on Stanislaw Lem's novel about humanity going to this alien planet, and the revelation at the end of that movie is the planet that they're visiting is actually alive. It's actually a creature. The whole it has an intellect. It seems clear to me that one of the revelations of this movie, when Sigourney Weaver, when their daughter lays down on the ground and she says, I can hear everything. It's boom, boom, you hear the heartbeat. Pandora itself is alive. It's an entity, and it's not their god Iwa. And the reason that she can talk to this or communicate with this entity is because she's a product of two worlds. Mm-hmm. She's the essence of Sigourney Weaver reborn through the power of Iwa, whatever, who's the creature, into this body. And I think that, so it's going to be an interesting first contact story. This total speculation on my part. Total speculation. And if that's the case, he's leaning into Gaia theory and the idea that our planet is an entity and that all facets of our ecology and everything is something that It's just going to be really interesting to see how all that plays out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's what, when I was watching this trailer, I was like, oh. And he's leaning into, only because I have read that novel and I'm a big fan of both versions of that movie. And I'm like, I get it. I get where and that's a pretty big deal. So I at the end of the movie, I was kind of like, I had my sense of wonder, not just because it was beautiful, but because I'm like, oh, he's leaning into some really interesting sci-fi concepts.
See, you saw Solaris. I saw, what was the exact name of it? Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Right.
Was that the name of the animated movie they did?
Yep.
Where they did the whole Gaia theory and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. And I kind of picked up on that. Still, all that did to me was tell me you have this character. It didn't actually tell me, well, what about it? What's going on? What's the point? What are they trying to do? What are they running from? What are they running towards? I wish they just gave us a little bit more of that, because again, I don't want them giving away everything.
Right.
Just let me know what it's about. Anyway,
You know what the problem I'm having with the trailer is, and what I've seen so far
it
is
was too long.
No. It's because I think I'm expecting so much advancement of visuals.
Yeah.
That it feels like there's really no upgrade. It's just you know what I mean? Like, because it's taken so long for the sequel to come out. I was expecting something to blow my mind or whatever, but I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're not seeing it in 3D.
Yeah,
3D.
right.
Yeah, and it's also the underwater scenes that are the ones that are like the most innovative, and this trailer didn't show as much of the underwater stuff.
But also, when you look at some of the wide environment shots, and then if you go back, so you go back and you look at the original Avatar, the detailing and the resolution and all,
right.
you can see the difference.
There
You
is
really
one
can.
shot in this trailer where there's fire in the background and the guy is peeking his head above the water.
Oh yeah. I
That
think
shot
that's
looks
solid.
Yeah.
great. I was like, whoa. But then other shots where the guy tackles the other dude, the other avatar, I'm like, that's like a video game, like a PlayStation 5
It'll be
game in
neat to
there.
see how it plays on a big screen,
Right.
in that sort of sense. I am left, even though we're only probably about 7 weeks away from this movie coming out, I gotta believe there's going to be a third trailer. I'm not going to bet eggs with ketchup or with Ray on it, but I think there's got to be another trailer.
I think, to speak to what you guys were saying, I think it's absolutely true that this is still relying on the wonder. Like, look, I felt something at the end when they're playing the Avatar theme over the title card. But like you said, there's still no indication beyond the obvious that there's a conflict between humanity and the Na'vi. There's no story here. It's a 3-hour movie.
And there's a conflict within the Na'vi too, right? Two opposing sides.
I mean, so we know that, but that's the very basic. Those are very, very basic plot elements. What's the actual story? I don't know.
And did he do 3D on this? Is he concentrating?
yeah, you're gonna be able to see it in 3D.
Rob, 3D, right?
I can't wait.
I will
can't
not
wait.
I will not be watching it in 3D.
3D IMAX, baby.
You, Rob, baby.
So,
All right,
look,
guys, question is for you. What do you think about the new Avatar trailer? I'm excited for this movie. I think it's going to be great, but I'd be lying if I told you that I actually enjoyed the trailer all that much, even though it is gorgeous. Maybe you loved it. Maybe you thought it was perfect. Maybe you thought it was terrible. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4, shall we? Alu, what is our fourth and final main topic today?
Main topic number 4 comes to us from Darren Robinson, who says, "Hi, John. Darren here. New fan, by the way. Love your podcast.
Thank you, Darren.
But I was reading this article about The Rock's dislike for the Shazam movie and how Shazam is his comic book rival, but isn't even mentioned in the Black Adam movie. So will a Black Adam and Shazam movie happen?"
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in. Yeah, there's, again, some headlines running around this morning. I saw a whole bunch of people on social media talking about The Rock hates Shazam. Rock hates Shazam. He has and the quote going around, and we'll get into the source of the quote here in a second, is that The Rock has a disdain for Shazam. He hates it. He's going to try to keep himself. He wants to keep Black Adam completely separate from Shazam, doesn't want to have anything to do with Shazam. All this kind of stuff is running around. And it's all coming off of one interpreted quote. From one interpreted quote. This comes to us from the folks over at The Wrap, who's talking about a source, talking about Dwayne Johnson and the removal of a scene from Shazam, where they noted the history of Black Adam's leading star doing his best to separate his anti-hero from Zachary Levi's own project. In fact, Shazam, a movie produced by the new DCEU boss, Peter Safran, who's of course partners with James Gunn, even had a scene in it that directly alluded to Teth Adam. That was, of course, the post-credit scene where they're sitting around on the thrones that they deleted. However, producers Danny and Hiram Garcia, along with Dwayne Johnson, asked the studio to move the anti-hero away from his comic book rival. An insider claimed Safran needs to win over all the other filmmakers, and Dwayne Johnson's thinly veiled disdain for Shazam means he probably isn't loving the idea that his boss, Peter Safran, is now the guy who produces Shazam. Safran is pretty diplomatic, so I think he will pull it off, but it won't be easy. Okay. So the first thing that we need to point out here with all these, this is the quote that everybody's running now with, saying Dwayne Johnson hates Shazam and all this kind of stuff. It's based on this. Let's look at this carefully. Bring up the quote one more time there, Jonathan, if you don't mind. First of all, it's an insider claimed that Safran needs to win over all the other filmmakers. Dwayne Johnson's thinly veiled disdain for Shazam. So what this is basically is somebody who is not Dwayne Johnson. He's not saying Dwayne Johnson said he doesn't like Shazam. No, it's an interpretive statement. He goes, you can kind of tell he doesn't like Shazam. Okay, so there's no actual quote. Dwayne Johnson never said that he has disdain for Shazam, that he doesn't like Shazam, and he wants nothing to do with Shazam. And he proves it. Because you're asking, well, this sounds like he wants to keep himself totally, wants nothing to do with Shazam. Well, no, that's not true. Because just 1 week earlier, and Jonathan, if you want to go over to the NDI here, just 1 week earlier, or maybe 2 weeks earlier, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was talking about how he's building up to a crossover with Shazam. Right? So if you want to understand exactly like how much he actually likes Shazam, he talks about it and he says this. He says, it was just a mosh of just put them both together because they're both connected. So that's when I said, you can't do it like this. We have to respect Shazam and his origin story. That has to be its own movie. Respect Black Adam. This has to be his own movie. Build them up, and then you can do this. And then he goes on to say in the article, afterwards, the interviewer shared the hopes for a crossover between Black Adam and Shazam, and Johnson promised, they're going to happen. So this notion that Dwayne Johnson wants to keep Shazam away, wants nothing to do with Shazam, he has a disdain for Shazam, blah, blah. It's completely undermined by the fact he's come out and said, we're building up to it. We are doing that. So why did Dwayne Johnson want that Black Adam focused post-credit scene in Shazam removed? Why is Shazam not mentioned in the Black Adam movie? Well, I think it's pretty clear, and he makes it pretty obvious here. He didn't want Black Adam just to be seen as a side character of Shazam. And to be honest, he's not wrong. That is how, if you had leaned into that, the way most people would probably look at Shazam was like, he's the side character. He's the B-level character of the Shazam verse, as it will. So he simply said, let's keep them as separate as possible while we get both of them introduced into this world, and then we start bringing them together. Black Adam has to be seen in Dwayne Johnson's eyes as his own man, his own character. He is not a side character to anybody. Maybe he's treated that way in the comics sometimes, but that's not the way we're going to treat him in the movies. And so he said, take out that one reference. By the way, there is another Black Adam reference right in the Shazam movie that's there. Oh, yeah. With the little sand thing and the telling of the story of his vengeance and all that kind of stuff. So that's still there. But yeah, Dwayne Johnson makes it pretty clear in his own words. We got to respect the origins of both. We've got to give them their both own unique origin stories. And the crossover is going to happen. That's what Dwayne Johnson directly said. Anyway, Rob, you see this report, you read these comments. What's your takeaway?
Well, sometimes it gets annoying because you see that people just want to say things that are negative without, and that's what bothers me. I don't mind if people do analysis and say things that are negative. But when this is clearly, this story, the way it was couched, is incorrect. And I think how you just explained it is exactly what, if you read anything, if you read up, Dwayne Johnson flat out said it, and he was right. Like you just said, he wasn't wrong. He was right, because Black Adam is a secondary character. And, if you're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and you were announced 15 years ago as making a Black Adam movie and Shazam beats you to the punch, what are you going to say? Hey, why don't we downplay that, let Black Adam be its own thing, build up a rivalry? I mean, this comes right out of the wrestling playbook. You don't want someone to
Yeah.
be seen. I mean, I'm like, of course, Dwayne The Rock Johnson would have said this in terms of asking somebody, hey, you want to build up a rivalry between two people? You give them equal weight in terms of the general public, so they can anticipate that fight. And I think that's great. I mean, his strategy is great. He's doing the same thing with Superman. But with Superman, obviously Superman is Superman. Superman already is established. But in cinematic terms, Shazam wasn't established, nor was Black Adam. I think it's a smart strategy, and Dwayne is a smart businessman.
Yes, he is.
And I think he's exactly right. And nowhere did he say that he didn't like Shazam.
Right. I mean, I'm not refuting their inside source. I'm not refuting
No,
it.
neither am I.
But even the inside source, their words were clearly interpretive. It's like, did he say he wasn't feeling good today? No, I could just tell he wasn't feeling. I mean, it was an interpretive statement.
And look, most people cannot give you a dissertation. Most people probably didn't even know that Black Adam is from, the Captain Marvel character was from a different company, Fawcett. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even a DC character. And DC purchased the rights to these characters and the whole Marvel family and this entire universe. And it was Captain Marvel was the big red cheese. So that was all the way back. Most people don't know that. Mm-hmm. So they're in their own minds, they're adding to their own interpretation of something that is incorrect.
Chris, you heard all the quotes, the headlines, the stuff like that. Yeah. What's your takeaway from this?
I mean, it really just seems like he wanted to have his own flagship film. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you do introduce him in that way, right, then it becomes that kind of villain of the week situation where it's well, is this our next one and done villain that Shazam will go up against? Is this somebody we're going to see them battling throughout the DCEU? How is this going to happen? And to Rob's point, you hype up two individuals and then you have them go head to head. There's usually a better payoff there. And you could correct me if I'm wrong here. In his original and comic interpretations too, he was like one and done and then didn't come back for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what would have happened before, is if you had that debut, it would have been and that was our movie with Black Adam. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, the general audience probably would have looked at it and said, oh, so Black Adam is lesser than.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's lesser than.
Or you'd have to
Shazam's
try to.
the main guy, Black Adam is lesser than.
You'd have to try to Loki-fy him, of then making it this, charming anti-hero who you're trying to build up and have this other kind of interpretation of him. And that's not who Black Adam is, right? So while definitely an anti-hero, it's not going to be this like trickster that we're all like, oh, cute, we like him. We want to have him be a real threat, and he needs to be the powerful entity he is in the DCEU.
All right. Now, I also read some people saying, well, Shazam 2 better have a Black Adam reference. Well, remember, the events of Black Adam take place over the course of what, like a day and a half? I mean, it's a pretty short window. So it doesn't necessarily, Billy may not know anything about this whole thing. So maybe there will be a reference in it. Maybe there won't.
I think that there will be, because you've got these other ancient and evil entities in the movie. I don't know how they're going to play it all in, but I could even see them summoning Black Adam, because Billy doesn't know about Black Adam, but they would.
Maybe. We'll see. Well, it all depends on time like, because at this point, with all the moving around, I can't even remember which movie was theoretically supposed to come out first. I mean, I think the Black Adam one was theoretically supposed to come out in 2015. So whatever.
And the fact that they shot the Superman scene late, I'm sure that was also a time when they could be like, yeah, maybe we should do something for Shazam too. Put it all together, lead up to whatever the announcement that James Gunn's going to make, like he did on Twitter with that thing.
All right, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Maybe you buy into that. Maybe you think that one insider source has nailed it and that Dwayne Johnson hates Shazam. Although one thing I should point out, at CinemaCon a couple years ago, when Dwayne Johnson's out there on stage, the first image he put up was that one of those comic images of Black Adam fighting Shazam and Superman. That was just one of the very first images he ever posted. So something else to keep in mind. Anyway, how do you guys interpret this whole thing? Whatever your view on it is, jump down to the comments section below and leave those thoughts there. All right. I did get a message here, a text message. Ryan Reynolds says, now that we've liked the second trailer for Spirited, they will continue to be sponsors. So thank you, Ryan. And to our friends, we want to give a big thank you to Mint Mobile for being a sponsor of our show. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for being a sponsor of the John Campea Show. Remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So go on down to the description of this video, and right at the top, you'll see links to our sponsors and the promo codes. And guys, again, I can't speak highly enough about Mint Mobile. I made the switch over. I am paying less than a third of what I was paying with my former service provider. The service has been great. I love them. Go, guys, and check out Mint Mobile. Okay, with that, I'm trying to stall for time because a few people ran to the bathroom during the break. Well, Rob's back now, but you know what? Whatever. We'll jump into our super chats that you guys have been sending in. Chris, you want to read the first super chat or two until Lou gets back?
Sure.
There's a Lou. What do we got in our super chats right now?
All right, we've got some support from Michael Douglas. Thank you so much. Jacob Hirsch, I saw bones and all. I don't mind gore, but I thought it was hard to watch. Walked out halfway. Also kind of boring. Oh.
But you know what? I'm not shocked because those types of films, they draw a more stark line between those who will enjoy it and have that experience with it versus those who are just like, this is just odd and weird, and I'm not comfortable watching this. And there's nothing wrong with that reaction to it, like at all. That is what it is. But yeah, again, I haven't seen it yet, but hopefully I will soon. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, my mom tested positive for COVID 2 days after I started a new job, and they sent me home. It's not her fault, but it's annoying. If I miss Wakanda Forever, I swear. Aw, Sam, well, I hope your mom gets better. I think that's the more important thing here.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah, the movie's still going to be around, my dude.
Son,
Just put her on the garage. Quarantine her.
Son, I need... Mom, quiet, I'm talking. She's like, man, if I miss Wakanda Forever. Tell you what, I had not a terribly different... Okay, this is bad. I had not a terribly different experience than that the other night because Ray texts me and says, my mom's not my mother-in-law. Mom's not feeling good. She's having a hard time getting up. She's got a fever, stuff like that. So me and Anna were like, well, let's go over and check on mom. Let's take some vitamins, some zinc over, some vitamin C, let's go check on her. And it wasn't until we got there that Anna was like, what if she's got COVID? And I'm like, well, damn, because she's older, right? I'm a little bit worried about that. But then my thought went to, for fuck's sakes, Ray's already missed a week and a half of work. If he's now living with someone with COVID and he's got to stay home for 2 weeks,
Is that a request? Make that happen.
You look so fresh-faced, though, Ray. You look like a new man.
Yeah.
You can't leave work.
Well, it's all that dish soap.
Yeah.
so like, yeah, but no, anyway, best wishes to your mom, dude. I hope for a speedy recovery. All right, what's next? Hi. Oh, yeah, Lou's back now.
All right, Al Rencha says, can't be a coincidence that Avatar 2 trailer debuts now. I expect to see it attached to Black Panther 2.
Yeah, of that I have no doubt. See, this is the exact situation when people say, do you think this trailer will launch with whatever movie? I'm like, they don't launch trailers with movies anymore. Like maybe Christopher Nolan does 1 out of every 100 movies, but they launch them online and then they attach it. But yes, I fully expect that when we go in to see this Disney movie, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, that Disney will attach the upcoming other biggest Disney movie of the year, Avatar 2, no doubt.
Does Black Panther open? They've been opening Marvel movies in foreign markets like the week before they open domestically. Does Wakanda Forever
You know,
open
Taylor, can you look up
this
the
week?
international
Yeah,
release dates?
I think I looked this up last week, and I think it was a few countries got it like 24, 48 hours before us. But I'm looking
Right, so
now.
not like a full week, but probably a couple places might get a day or two before
Yeah,
we do.
I'm just curious. I didn't know. That's why they, did launch the trailers.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Bond Presents says, one of the many things I love about Andor is that it reminds me of Timothy Zahn's novels. He has many novels outside of his Thrawn trilogy, which focuses on non-Force users in espionage thrillers.
He really does. And by the way, I know we're talking about other than the Zahn things, but when they were able to get him back to write the new Thrawn novels, like that was actually a real treat. Now, the new Thrawn novels weren't masterpieces. Like, they're not as good as, say, his original Thrawn trilogy, but listen, a lot of the new Star Wars novels that came out in recent years were poor. There are a couple of really, really good ones, and I would consider the Thrawn ones amongst the good ones. Those are actually pretty good. So I love that he's back doing his thing.
I agree, but I agree with your assessment of the Thrawn books.
Oh, yeah. All right, what's next?
James Argenta says, where do you think Walter Hamada will land? I read on Twitter that he was the one who suggested Billy's mom abandon him instead of being dead.
Well, I'm sure there's a million things that were his, little details like that. Listen, of course, I don't know. The nice thing about being Walter Hamada is that you've got enough money that you don't have to rush into anything. He's not living paycheck to paycheck. So he's going to take a lot of time to think about it. He's going to evaluate where he's at, field the best offer. I still think you're going to see a produced by credit with Walter Hamada's name on an MCU movie in the next couple of years. Obviously, none of the ones coming out in the next 2 to 3 years, but I actually think he's going to do some producing for Marvel. I really do. Rob, I know you thought that as well for a while. Do you still think that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very valuable asset, and he probably will. I don't know so much about Marvel, although that's the obvious place he would go, but I'm sure that he's going to wind up with some deal someplace because he's too valuable. There aren't many people that have his pedigree that are out there, especially with his experience. Plus he's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the highlights to me of the first fandom, hearing him speak.
All right, what's next?
Suthia says, the different Na'vi tribes go to war for the love and affection of the Celestials sleeping within Pandora.
I don't get it.
The crossover event we need.
Yeah, it's Marvel meets Avatar.
Yeah.
Bring up that. Let me read that question again. Bring that up again. Was it the different Na'vi tribes go to war for the love and affection of the Celestials sleeping within Pandora? Oh, okay. I get where we're going. That went right over my head at first. All right. What's next? That happens.
Jedediah Elias says, Wreck-It Ralph came out 10 years ago today.
What?
Love video game references and story for Ralph. Really speaks to me years later. Sequel is underrated too.
Hell yeah, it is.
I love Wreck-It Ralph.
So good.
It's charming and heartwarming. Like near the end when he's trying to put the car together and it might like your heart. Like it's so good. I can't believe it's 10 years. You know what that reminds me of? We're going to be reintroduced. I know we tried to reintroduce it before and it only lasted a week or two, but we're going to try to get Rewind back as a weekly segment on the show to talk about the films celebrating their 10th and 20th anniversaries. But and you're right, Wreck-It Ralph, the sequel, is underrated. It's not as good as the first one, I don't think, but it is underrated. Do you have a favorite out of the Wreck-It Ralph films?
Man, I was just thinking, we were talking about sequels yesterday. I mean, I may be biased because it had the Disney princesses in it, but I think I like the second one a little better. The first one had a better story for sure, but the second one was just so much more fun and charming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
Sin Vendetta says, hey, Rob, over the weekend I picked up 2 new 4K Blu-rays, The Secrets of Dumbledore Steelbook and The Army of Darkness, which is like 4 different versions of the movie included. It's awesome.
We had this question.
I don't know if he sent it again, Sin, but yeah, we definitely answered this one on Open Mic, I believe.
Yeah, we did answer that yesterday on Open Mic.
Maybe he didn't hear it answered and decided to send it in
Oh,
again.
you know what? Maybe was it a member chat, Rob? And then maybe he just sent it as support.
Yes.
So thank you.
It might have been
and also
member chat.
check the member chat, Sin, if that was true.
Either way,
because-
I will say both great titles. The Army of Darkness Steelbook has all the different versions of Army of Darkness that have been released over the years, including a bonus disc. It's awesome. The artwork on it's awesome. And of course, when you stay through the credits of Army of Darkness, you can see my name. Look out for me, kids.
All right, what's next?
South Texas Shark says, sadly, Stargirl will not be renewed for a season 4. Hopefully it will be picked up by HBO, but I don't have high hopes. I really love the show.
You know what? This is one of those things where it's like, it's there for people who like it. And I love that it's there for people who like it. Mm-hmm. I tried twice to get on board with Stargirl. Just did not click for me. I get it. Well, John, you're not exactly the target audience. Well, I know that, but if something's really good, you don't have to be the target audience. And just for me, quite frankly, I found it kind of flat. It just didn't work for me, but that's fine. Like I know a number of people who actually quite enjoy it, and I love that it's there for people to enjoy. But it wasn't exactly a ratings monster.
No.
And in the current thing of it's like, hey, if you don't work, we're going to clear you away to make room for something else that might work. So I'm not surprised to hear, if you didn't hear, Stargirl got canceled. But did either of you guys watch Stargirl?
I did. I thought it was cute. But it also, it had some really actually like big stakes in it, which was cool to see. But it did feel a little high schooly, Riverdale-y at times for me. Luke Wilson's adorable in it.
Yeah, I only watched first episode only because I like those characters and I want to see where it was going to go.
Yeah.
But
Well, I got kind of excited with the first episode. So all of a sudden, I had no idea Joel McHale was going to pop up. So Joel McHale, Luke Wilson is in there. Who played the mom?
Amy Smart.
Smart? Yes.
Yeah.
I love Amy Smart.
Yeah, Just
I've
Friends is
met
a
Amy
Christmas
Smart.
watch for me all the time.
She's amazing. I love her. So I was really kind of enthusiastic during the first quarter of the first episode. And then as I plowed through a couple of episodes, I'm like, oh well. But hey, others did like it, and that's important. Hey, at least you got a couple of seasons out of it. That's more than some shows get. So that's awesome. All right, what's next?
Quality not included says standard episode. John. Rob, what do you think? Rob, I agree. John. Chris, ooh, LOL, love you guys.
I have no idea what that means.
Is that my noise most of the time? Ooh, okay. Well,
was that an assessment of what we say on this show?
probably.
What's next?
Calvin Severo Panjo says, hey, John, yesterday Variety announced that Heartstopper star John Locke was announced in Agatha, Coven of Chaos. The article says the character is gay with a sense of humor. So, odds of it being Wiccan, Billy Maximoff, Children's Crusade in the future?
Well, there's a couple things. One, it never said they never did say, I don't believe in the article, what his character will be in the show. I think there was some speculation in there. I might not be remembering it correctly. Let me just throw that out there, but there's that. So yeah, I've never watched this show. I don't know this kid from a bug on the wall. I have no idea who they are, to be honest with you. That said, there's being some assumptions that are getting made right now because of who and what the character, the actor has played before, that this could be Wiccan and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you could. However, in this world, Wanda has no kids. Remember, these kids aren't real. So that's a pretty big obstacle they have to get over for something that's not even a Wanda show. It's Agatha. So I'm going to go with, I doubt that it's Wiccan because Wanda doesn't actually have kids in 6 months. They're not real. They were figments of her imagination that she manifested into being in her little dome bubble, and then they disappeared. So I'm going to guess no, but it's not. Hey, listen, it wouldn't be the craziest thing that Marvel has done. Do you think he's going to end up being Wiccan?
I think probably only because who else would it be? Like, given
anybody? Millions of potential
here's the
characters?
thing. Here's what I'm thinking, that because she really did, in the comics, she really did conjure using this magic she wasn't supposed to be using anyway. So I'm thinking that maybe Agatha Harkness manifests them and makes them real, maybe, to manipulate her somehow.
So something even Wanda wasn't able to do?
Something. Well, I think she was able to do it. They went away, but what Agatha's doing is snatching them back, and she didn't know she could. They're going to come up with something.
All right.
I think.
But you think it will be Wiccan?
I think, yeah, but then you have to have speed, too.
Right.
I don't know how, not speed, too. With Sandra Bullock.
You need a cruise ship.
Yeah, I don't need that. I mean, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it, only because, look, when they said that, they cast a teenager. I'm like, who else is it going to be? But you're right.
Any other kid in the neighborhood.
There's no one saying that it has to be that way, but what better way to manipulate Wanda Maximoff than manifesting her children again?
This world thinks Wanda Maximoff is dead at this point, too.
But Agatha probably knows she's not.
Well, we'll see. All right. Chris, what do you think?
I'm with Rob. It's Wicked.
All right. And I don't think it will be. Although it is very possible. I'm not saying, it's a zero. No. It's possible, but I don't think they're going to do that. All right. What's next?
Now, Chris, you have to say,
Ooh, I think it's Wiccan.
Just somehow bring back Evan Peters. I don't care if it goes against the plot. All right. Zelda Master 702 says, okay, Ray, what happened?
Well, we don't have time for Ray
Yeah.
to go into a full thing,
I'm
but
back though.
he's back.
Yep.
Had a little problem with one, with a foot, but
There's
he's
a
back.
documentary being made about it.
Full documentary. I think Peter Jackson. That's why he hasn't been making real movies. Real movies, like
Been working on
documentaries aren't real movies. That's why he hasn't been making narrative movies. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I am loving Deidre. I know I shouldn't, but I do.
Oh, we're talking about the character in Andor. Gosh, it's kind of becoming her show. She went from this really interesting side character that would just kind of come in and out when ISB was being covered to like, no. This is kind of Andor's and her show. That's what's
Is
turning
that the
into.
blonde lady?
Yeah.
And someone's real horny for her in this episode.
Boy, how uncomfortable was that scene? And we won't go into details.
Yeah.
We won't go into details.
That dude is losing it.
Was it Rob?
She's not
She's not a redhead.
She wasn't
Yeah.
running from the stormtrooper, so no.
Chris, I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say someone in this room, not in this episode.
I was like, did you?
No, but you know what? I will say this. It's like great femme fatales are tough to do. She's a fantastic femme fatale.
And the way she played that scene was insane. You just watch everything going on her face. But again, we won't go into details. All right, what's next?
Amen says, as Dom would say, Avatar 2 is all about family.
Well, I mean, yeah, you heard the comment from James Cameron the other day talking about why his movies are better than Marvel movies. Because in my movies, when somebody becomes a parent, they know they can't be a hero. Okay, James, whatever. But yes, it is all about family in this
God,
one.
he said that?
Yeah, he pretty much did. All right, what's next?
Oh, boy.
CJ Rebirth says, happy 10 years to Wreck-It Ralph, one of my most fave Disney movies, and also robbed of an Oscar by Brave. Agreed.
Yeah, listen, Brave is a movie that I think ages very well. Like I've gone back and watched Brave a couple more times, and I like it a little bit more every time I see it. It's actually quite good, and I think it's a little bit underrated.
Redhead.
But
Child.
yeah,
I'm
She's gonna
Brave.
grow up. She's gonna grow up.
Oh, God.
She's animated too, so come on.
but she's going to grow up. It's the pedophile's pledge of allegiance.
As Chris passes away.
I mean, I'd meet her when she's older.
We know,
College.
Rob. We know.
You know.
We're good.
But she's going to grow up.
Brave
Okay.
2.
Game of Thrones, that's all.
I think the important thing is here we're talking about a make-believe fake animated character. That's not real.
That shirt's got to be up on the
That
John
shirt-
Campea with Rob's like outline.
There's that moment when
yeah.
you think something sounded okay in your head, and then you said it out loud. Okay, let's move on. Here,
Child, I
shall
have to
we?
defend myself. I'm like, I didn't mean it that way.
No, Rob, come on, man.
Okay, what's next?
Al Rencha says, Devotion looks good. If it wasn't for Top Gun Maverick, I don't know how much I would be interested in this.
I mean, look, it is kind of funny that also we're seeing Powell as another naval fighter pilot, different era and all that kind of stuff. So interesting casting. But in the preview they showed us at CinemaCon, I mean, him and Majors have actually really good on-screen
Really good
chemistry
chemistry.
together. Like they play off each other very, very well from the stuff that we saw. So I think, while yeah, going into it, obviously, if you're a Top Gun Maverick fan, you're gonna be thinking, hey, it's Hangman. There he is, it's Hangman. But I have a feeling like 30 seconds into it, when you see his performance on screen, it's gonna be, nope, this is a totally different movie, totally different
Yeah.
guy. And I think it's gonna be great.
Plus, I also think it's a period of time. It's really interesting that it deals with the Korean War,
Yeah.
which I think is really, I mean, from a historical perspective, I'm interested to see how they deal with that because I'm unfamiliar with not as familiar with the air war in Korea.
All right, what's next?
Chef Rigo.
Chef Rigo.
Welcome back, Ray. Free lobster for Ray. On me.
Aw.
Free lobster.
We do got to do another Shogun trip here pretty soon. I'm getting hungry from
We have to
Shogun.
talk about that WrestleMania too.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right, what's next?
Luis Enrique de la Peña says, great to see you back, Ray. You were missed. By the way, did you get that nurse's phone number?
I told them that you liked your nurse.
Did I like my nurse?
Yeah, sure. Seemed like
Was
you
it
liked your
at
nurse.
least a lady nurse?
Yes, it was indeed.
Because half the time I didn't know what was going on. I was asleep.
I love
Well,
that
there-
you're open-minded like that, though, bud.
There
You're
were
like,
two
who was
of
I
them.
hitting on?
There were two of them. There was the Filipino girl, and then there was the tattooed girl. You remember? Come on.
Wait, did you actually come to see me?
I was there like 3 days.
No. They're very nice there. They yeah.
All
They're
right,
very
what's next?
YIY says, what are you guys' thoughts on Omega Red being the rival of DP3, Deadpool 3? He had leaked concept art in Deadpool 2 and rivals Logan, Deadpool in the comics. Will they have one?
Well, I don't know how you do Omega Red
They'll
because
do it like a Colossus, right? Like the way he looks, at least.
well, that's they're brothers, are they not? Omega Red and Colossus are brothers, are they not?
I believe they are.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, but his power, I mean, it depends. Look, it depends how you want to deck. Because Omega Red, he is an Omega level mutant. So I don't know that you bring him into Deadpool.
He's a cool character.
Yeah. But then again, you could do him in Deadpool, just have him be different than he is in the
Yeah.
comics.
A lot of ponytail jokes to be made.
There are many ponytail jokes to me. Absolutely. All right. What's next?
Seconds from Disaster says House of the Dragon was my introduction to Game of Thrones, and I loved it. So last night I started watching Game of Thrones for the first time. 4 episodes into season 1, and I hate the Lannisters.
Well,
You will keep hating them.
Yeah, you're not going to get over
Hold
that.
on.
Some of them.
Hold on tight.
That was
Yeah,
pay their debt.
most of them. Yeah,
That's where
most
I'm
of
at,
them.
too.
You're gonna, yeah, you'll like somebody in there. But yeah, I mean, what we talked about that is House of the Dragon was going on. It's like, we just assume everybody's seen Game of Thrones. There are a lot of people who are not. And somebody wrote in once and asked, do we think they have to go back and watch Game of Thrones first? And we were about 4 or 5 episodes into House of the Dragon. It's like, you know what? I don't think you have to watch Game of Thrones first. I think this is a great introduction. I think you can go from this to Game of Thrones, and you've just proved it. So well done. All right, what's next?
Chef White says the new God of War trailer has Ben Stiller in full Kratos outfit giving parenting advice to John Travolta and LeBron. It's hilarious. You need to see it.
We watched it yesterday. 4 minutes long. And it's glorious.
It is really glorious.
I have not seen this.
Oh, you
It's-
did? Oh, that's
it's-
right. You
you'll
weren't
love
here
it.
yesterday. We were
No.
watching
No.
that.
Incredible.
We'll watch it after the show's done.
Okay.
It's really funny. A la breakthrough is going to be my new favorite saying. That was really good. Ben Stiller. It's just funny because that story came out the day after we were talking about him maybe doing a dodgeball too, and then just seeing him in this trailer just really makes me want a dodgeball too. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I too got the sense from the Avatar 2 trailer that they were setting up the daughter as some sort of messiah. I hope she's not a main character.
Why do we hope she's not a main character?
That's Sigourney Weaver.
Not is it?
She's the
Yeah,
daughter.
She's the daughter in it.
Oh, I didn't realize she.
Yeah.
I thought she was one of the other characters.
No, she's the daughter.
Yeah.
And that's her playing the
Interesting.
character.
Yep.
Interesting.
I need to watch this
did not
trailer,
notice
but-
that. I got to go back and I didn't watch that trailer through a totally
That
different
one
set of eyes.
smile, that shot of her in the
Yeah.
water.
And how does it sound? Mighty. I do like. I don't know why the word mighty is not used enough. I like the word mighty. All right.
Mighty.
What's next?
Xander says, I have friends who are confused about when Andor takes place. Should Lucasfilm include some sort of intro that indicates when a Star Wars series takes place?
I think they did in episode 1. Was there not a 5 years BBY?
I think there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
So I mean that gives you an indication right there. But I don't think they need to put that in at the beginning of every episode. But I mean, I don't know. It's been a bit.
It'd be funny if they did.
Yeah. Now
Like
this one is
slight
4
updates.
years, 8 months, and 5 days before the Battle of Yavin.
Like the end of Star Blazers. You have
Oh God!
there
They
are
now
now
have
127 days to save the Earth.
So yeah, but I think I might not be remembering that correctly, but I thought that was kind of labeled in
think
the
the
beginning of the
first
show.
episode.
It is.
Yeah.
Because I remember I remember thinking, wow, that's cool.
All right, what's next?
Luis Enrique de la Peña says, today is the Day of the Dead in Mexico. If you could interview or talk to a person who passed away, who would it be?
Martin Luther King.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
Muhammad
like
Ali,
he-
baby.
I had to do a lot of, when I was in seminary, we had to do a lot of Martin Luther King reading, actually. And that's when he kind of became a theological kind of hero of mine, at any rate. So yeah, that would be mine. But that would explain a lot, because we went to the hockey games in both Anaheim and LA this past weekend, and that was their theme all weekend. It was really great. They had like the cheerleaders all with the makeup and everything
Oh,
too.
that's
It was
cool.
really, really fun. It was really, really fun. All right, what's next?
Seconds from Disaster says, I honestly hope there's never a Red Hulk. I agree with John on the overabundance of Hulk characters. Let him be General Ross. That's compelling enough.
Agreed.
Yeah, again, to me, it's the commodification of Hulk. Now everything's a Hulk. There's nothing special about Hulk anymore because there's literally 4 of them now if you bring Red Hulk into it.
But this one's red.
But this one's red, totally different. And if you want to count Abomination, there's 5 of them kind of running around. But I don't know, man. The fan servicey side of Kevin Feige might cave and say, you know what we haven't done yet? Red Hulk. You know, one of the problems with Phase 4 has been too much new. It's just been too much new. It's almost, there have been times that the MCU, like through phases 1, 2, and 3, you never felt this, but there have been times in Phase 4 that it's like this, that I almost don't recognize the MCU right now because it's so unfamiliar. And we just keep going through this rapid succession. Like, yes, they threw in a Black Widow movie, but that was a prequel. Yes, we've had Thor Ragnarok and Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, but like almost everything else has been new. And it reminds me, Phase 4 reminds me a little bit of the Transformers animated movie. It's like, hey kids, the movie opens. Here's all your favorite Transformers. Fuck you, we're gonna kill them all. Here's Rodimus Prime. What the fuck is a Rodimus Prime? Doesn't matter. You like Optimus Prime? Here's Ultra Magnus. Why is he a truck too? Just like Optimus. Never mind, you love it. So that's what kind of reminds me of a little bit. But I have loved a lot of the new characters, Ms. Marvel, Shang-Chi. I like the Eternals. I've liked a lot of it, but it's just they really didn't balance it well with the familiar and the new. They went way far into the new, and I think maybe that's been a little, not alienating, but it's created a little bit of cognizant dissonance, I think.
It's just expanding too rapidly.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too fast. I don't know. All right, what's next?
Emin says, need to see the Avatar trailer in 3D. I will say, as great as it looked visually for me, a couple of the characters have that uncanny look to them.
You know, and that's the thing with, it's still a truth today. It's not as much as it was like 6 or 7 years ago, but it is still a truth today that, remember, a lot of these visual effects are created and rendered and done in certain ways that they will look the way they're supposed to look on a projected big screen.
Right.
And sometimes we've all had experience where we've seen a shot in a trailer, it's like, well, that visual effect didn't look all that good, but then you see it in a movie theater, like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look. So I still think there's a little bit of that, but I think you're right too. A lot of this was probably shot exclusively with 3D in mind, so watching it in 3D may be a little bit of a different experience. All right, what's next?
Al Rencha says, Jedi Master Rey is back. Hashtag the Army of Rey.
Rey is back. Rey is back.
Oh boy.
It's good to have Rey back. It really is. All right, what's next?
Dominant Media says, if Superman beats Black Adam, doesn't that kind of hurt the chances of him going against Shazam? Because we can just call Superman if he comes back.
Well, I mean, again, if we go back to one of the first things that Dwayne Johnson ever posted, there was a team up of Superman and Shazam fighting Black Adam. So they could look, at the end of the day, Superman's still Superman, right? Superman is still Superman. And he is the hierarchy of the DCU. And I love the fact that when Dwayne Johnson was talking about Henry Cavill coming in, it's like Black Adam is the most unstoppable force on the planet, but Superman is the most unstoppable force in the universe. And I love that. But I think you're going to see a lot of play with both Superman and Shazam in there too. So we'll see what their long-term roadmap of this is. All right, what's next?
Wayne Edwards says, Happy Hump Day. Question, how is time measured in Star Wars? Every planet has a different time cycle, right? Is there a galactic standard that all planets adhere to? Am I overthinking?
There actually is. I believe it was in the West End game, Star Wars role-playing game, that they actually introduced the measurements of time. The Star Wars, West End game, Star Wars D6-based role-playing game is actually the originator of a lot of things that are canon in Star Wars now, including a lot of various ship types and names of a lot of things. And I believe they introduced a unit of time measurements. Some people might already be saying, I saw somebody in the live chat say parsecs. Parsecs is not actually a unit in time, which was very confusing for a lot of people because, you know, when Han Solo's talking about how fast the Millennium Falcon is, he talks about doing the Kessel Run in terms of parsecs, but parsecs is actually a measurement of distance. So, but I think they did in the role-playing game. I just can't remember what it is. All right, what's next?
Just like leagues. Everyone thinks 20,000 leagues under the sea is a depth. Not everybody, but it's leagues as a distance.
All right, what's
So it's
next?
just like parsecs. It's a distance, not a depth.
Seconds from Disaster says, which dragon depictions do you like more? Smaug, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, or Reign of Fire? Mine is Reign of Fire. Really underrated movie.
Listen, think what you want about the Hobbit movies, and we all have certain thoughts about the Hobbit movies. Smaug was awesome.
He was awesome.
I got to go with Smaug. And yes, a part of that is because it also had sentience and he spoke, and of course Benedict Cumberbatch did the voice of it. But
Yeah.
that's part of it. That's part of the character. What made it amazing. So I go with Smaug. What about
I
you?
got to go back even further because the first time I saw a dragon that blew me away was in 1981's Dragon Slayer, and ILM had done that, and they had perfected their go motion technique that they had started working on with the Tauntauns in Empire. That dragon was incredible. It was incredible, and it led to the dragons we've seen now. But as far as modern, because you didn't put that in your list, I would go with Smaug because also Benedict Cumberbatch's voice acting was awesome.
When we do the mocap section of my voiceover class, I show all my students that, and it's like every time it blows their minds of just like that's acting. That's what that is.
Yeah,
His
and-
commitment to that. Oh, it's
And he
so
wasn't
good.
just going blah, 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 at a microphone.
No, it's if you haven't watched it, because they have all like his mocap footage online, do yourself a favor and go check it out because it is amazing.
It's amazing.
By the way, some people in live chat are saying Ghidorah. Ghidorah is the
Ghidorah.
Nah, Smaug would rip his three heads
He's a
off.
thrheaded. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
an alien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
He's not a fantasy dragon.
Toothless,
right.
baby.
I was going to say the answer is Toothless.
You know, Toothless is a puppy.
Yeah.
I like
But no,
Toothless's
Toothless is
wife.
great.
She's cute.
By the way, I like Ghidorah too. I love, but he's a kaiju. Or she.
Charizard.
And she'll grow up. All right.
Come on now. Wow.
What's next?
Dildar says, as punishment for not listening to John, Ray should watch Dragon Ball Evolution on repeat clockwork style.
No,
I don't know that Ray's ever seen. Have you?
And I might have liked it. Just kidding. I don't
Oh,
know.
Ray.
No. I have, and no.
And I might have liked it. I love the certainty. The certainty. All right. What's next?
Optimistic. Talkin' Entertainment with Josie says Yellowstone Season 5 premiere was devastating. My heart has never broken for Rip before. Tulsa King was great, but wish they showed the first 2 episodes because it was 30 to 35 and I kind of needed more.
So they debuted Tulsa King and the season premiere of Yellowstone in theaters on Saturday, but I was at a hockey game, so I killed me that I couldn't go to it, but I only get a chance once a year to see the Toronto Maple Leafs play, so I was going to go watch them play this weekend. But I can't wait. So I don't know anything about the premiere. I cannot wait. Tulsa King is looking better and better and better to me. I really can't wait to see. And the Paramount is putting a lot of confidence into that. They believe they've got a real winner on their hands.
Bums me out though to hear that the episode's only 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a regular TV show is 45 minutes. I mean, that's what like that was but still, I would like to, I can't wait to see Tulsa King because Stallone looks like he's having a great time.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Jacori Robertson says, just binged Andor, episode 1 through 9. Didn't realize there were 3 more. I need it.
Isn't it great to have something that's closer to a reasonable length of a season than these 6? That's the thing about these 6 episode seasons. Like you feel like you just started, and all of a sudden you're talking about the season finale.
And the thing about Andor, it's not quite as long as I'd love, but it feels like a full meal. Like those episodes feel like you really had something that.
Well, they're averaging about an hour in length.
I think
episodes.
this
one was a little. I think it was 50 something minutes, but I think the average has been close to an hour.
Yeah.
By the way, I finally got around to watching Tales of the Jedi. Everybody told me to skip episode 1,
You don't
and
have
I
to skip
should
it.
have taken your advice.
I just said you wouldn't like it.
Yeah. Well, I should have skipped it.
It's not even necessary.
No, it's complete, and really, it was unnecessary. It didn't need to be there. The episodes with Ahsoka, and this has nothing to do with the fact that traditionally that Ahsoka's not really a character I dig, but really those were the kind of the most pointless episodes to me. The Dooku episodes were really like seeing Dooku with a young Qui-Gon, and you see that journey that Dooku was on.
Yep.
But I will say this: here's the funny thing. While I thought those were really interesting, I ultimately felt unsatisfied with them. Because like they bring this great concept. Let's go through this journey that Dooku's on. And it was 15 minutes long. And it's like, oh. And I feel like they tease all this great stuff, but they didn't do it in a format that really gave you time to really get into it. So while I thought what I saw was quite good, it oddly enough left me feeling kind of unsatisfied in a way, even though it was some really, really interesting stuff, especially the Dooku stuff.
Yeah, that's what my favorite.
Although I
stuff
did
was,
like
too.
the final Ahsoka.
The one with Bail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that out of all the Ahsoka episodes, that was the best one. That was the best one to me.
It reminded me of the Obi-Wan moment in Rebels.
Yeah. And they do some direct dialogue stuff in there too
Yeah.
with that. So, all right, what's next?
Matt Sanders says that episode Andor was really good. Cyril is my favorite character, and the dialogue is great.
I could watch an entire episode of that dude and his mom just talking because it's like, oh my God, it is mom. It's mom. Like just the conversation with him. I could watch an entire 45 minutes of them sitting at that damn kitchen table, just talking, sniping back and forth. I love it. I really do. But this is a twisted character.
Yeah,
Like this dude is a twisted
Where
character.
do you think he's gonna wind up?
I honestly don't know.
He's so thirsty to be in the Imperial process, and then she's just like, "Go away, or you're going to meet someone worse."
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to wear her down? Again, we shouldn't go into too many details just in case we reveal something, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. But totally fascinating character. All right, what's next?
Fernando Rodriguez says, glad Ray is back. Physical media for life.
Yeah.
It's funny. Before the show started today, Taylor and Rob were having this discussion about a DVD disc that they can't find.
Blu-ray.
Like, a physical disc.
Yeah.
That one of you has, and you can't find it. And I came out of my office and like, if only there was a way, a technology, if you will, that existed where you didn't have to have your media on some physical thing that can be so easily misplaced or go missing or get lost. If only. But yes, I am not a physical media guy.
That's it.
But I
all
love
right.
that Rob loves physical media so much. All right, what's next?
Talking Entertainment with Josie says, Chef Pleasure's great to hear your voice again, bud.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have Ray back. Missed him while he was gone. All right, what's next?
Matt Boyle says, hey, John, so Nickelback has a bad rap from their music, and they are a Canadian rock band. I enjoy listening to them. I need your opinion on them. Are they a good Canadian kid?
Well, they are good Canadian kids. Yeah, Nickelback's good Canadian kids. But it's like Avatar. Actually, Nickelback is a lot like Avatar. Something gets really successful, and so it becomes the cool thing to hate on it. Look, sometimes I pass it off like I'm some big Nickelback fan. I'm actually not. But they've got some big hits. They got some bangers. They got some really good. The problem is, like I can't remember the name of their two biggest songs, but my buddy once took their two biggest songs, right? Probably the one with "Never Make It as a Blind Man," whatever that one was.
And Photograph.
Look at this.
Might have
Forever.
been Photograph. Might have been another one. And he brought them into an audio editor, and he played them at the same time, one in the left ear and then one in the right ear, and they are the exact same songs.
Yes.
Like everything from the build up to the bridge, dun, dun,
It's
dun,
yacht
bum,
rock.
bum. It's
Heck
like
yeah.
everything
Nickelback.
was exactly the same song,
It's
just
yacht
with
rock.
different lyrics.
Don't
Crap
hate
rock,
on them.
yacht rock.
That's why people
Don't hate on them.
Yeah, maybe that's why people like them. It's
were
like,
the thing.
more
If
familiar.
you want to hear a
This is yacht
case
rock.
for
There you go.
Nickelback, look up Shane Torres's Nickelback bit. It's fantastic. It's a really, really great comedy bit.
But hey,
It's a
listen,
good
the fact of the
argument,
matter
Ron.
is we're listing names of songs. The fact that everybody knows the exact songs we're talking about,
Yep.
Oh, I don't actually know
they
the name.
succeeded.
Can't name them.
Hey, man, they made money.
Give them that. They succeeded. All right, what's next?
All right, Nickelodeon. Let's do this.
Oh, Taylor Goodson with a $20 super chat says a common praise for House of the Dragon has been its smaller story and its cloak and dagger vibes. Thoughts on the show maintaining what fans loved about the first season going forward now that the war has begun in earnest?
I mean, I have seen a lot of people drawing a lot of distinctions between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. But the reality is when you look at House of the Dragon, almost all those elements, those narrative types, if you will, were also utilized in Game of Thrones. They're not as distinct as you might think. Now, yes, I did like the fact, one of the things I loved about House of the Dragon is that they kept the focus a little bit more narrow, right? So we really invested in this one group of characters and all the machinations that are going on with them. And of course, they split it off a little bit. Sometimes we're at it's not Dragon's Rock. I got Fraggle Rock.
Dragonstone?
Got Dragonstone. Down to Dragon Rock.
What's with Fraggle Rock in this show now?
Yeah,
Come on.
that's a big thing. So, but they did keep a little bit of a focus. I think you can absolutely tell a world-spanning story while keeping your focus on one thing. A good example of that is The Godfather. Like The Godfather is about something that was sweeping America at the time, about the whole idea about like everything that was going on with Congress and the mobs and all that kind of stuff. But yet they always kept the camera pointed at the Corleone family, right? So that's kind of been House of the Dragon's approach. And I think so. I think you can do both. And I think they'll probably maintain that moving forward. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think that's part of the reason that the show's successful. Other shows like Succession kind of do the same thing. You know, they keep the focus crystal clear, laser focused, and I like that.
All right, was that it?
I think that was it.
All right, guys, and that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Once again, don't forget to come on back for our Andor open spoiler discussion after show. That'll be at 3 p.m. Los Angeles time. That's 9 p.m. 6 p.m. New York time, not 9 p.m., 6 p.m. New York time. Come on back and join us for that. All right, guys, for everybody in the room, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, the wonderful Chris Carr, we got Ray Ora back in his feet there today. Sitting back there in the stalker chair, we got Taylor Gonzalez, Jonathan Voico, and of course, Alu Moana. My name's John Campea, guys. Thanks for being here. And until next time, my friends, she'll get older.